Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in to Birds vs. Boys, looking ahead to the Super Bowl edition. Aiden has survived the NFC Championship game and the shenanigans, I guess we could say, that happened
Perfect
before,
word.
during, and after. He is still alive. He is here. We're going to be doing things a little bit differently. We have almost 2 weeks, a little bit less now, leading into the Super Bowl with the Philadelphia Eagles and the Kansas City Chiefs. And we're going to be doing sort of, if you tuned in to Hate Week, we're going to be doing that kind of thing. Shorter episodes, lots of interviews, nothing but content, Aiden.
It's not every day that your team makes the Super Bowl, so we got to capitalize on it while we can. And obviously, we have to capitalize on it because it's been 27 years since the Cowboys have done it. This will now be, my third trip to the Super Bowl in my lifetime. Very excited. The voice is still hoarse from, like you said, shenanigans was the perfect word to describe what Sunday was. The Eagles are advancing to the Super Bowl. I am stoked, but I think we should start with the biggest news of this week as we recap what's been going on in the NFL. Not the Eagles going to the Super Bowl. Kellen Moore going to the Los Angeles Chargers. Kellen Moore is gone from the Cowboys. How do we feel?
Well, first I'm going to say congratulations on you on your third Super Bowl trip. I remember my 3. Actually, today is, as we record this, January 31st, 2023. 30 years ago today, January 31st, 1993, the Dallas Cowboys beat the Buffalo Bills in the Super Bowl. First of my 3 in my lifetime. So, Kellen Moore. It's pretty funny, Aiden, that I seem to not be able to get rid of him because now he's with our mutual team, the Chargers, where I think he's going to thrive. I really do. I don't know if listen, something had to happen, right? Somebody had to go. Somebody had to be the scapegoat. Kellen's been there many years. His offenses have been second, third, fourth in the league. He was middle of the pack the year they had Andy Dalton and Ben DiNucci and Garrett Gilbert slinging it. This year, right, he seemed to – the season was over. The team was dead. Dak was hurt. Cooper Rush. He was able to scheme up an offense for Cooper Rush and put together 5 straight wins until the Eagles ruined it and brought back Dak. But, I don't think it was all him. That it was all his fault, but like I said, I think something needed to change, and I'm okay with the move. But at the same time, in 3, 4, 5 years down the line, we may look back and say, well, he wasn't really everything to blame.
I agree with you, and I think it's got to be really hard to screw up Justin Herbert. Like. It doesn't seem like it's that hard of a job. I do think I wanted to ask you because I've been seeing this sentiment online and in the media. This may have been a mutual thing.
Yeah.
Like you said somebody had to go, but maybe he was like, oh no, it's me. Oh shucks.
Yeah. The more things now, like 48, 36 hours after, things are starting to bubble up that like maybe Mike and Kellen didn't have the best relationship. I think they were coworkers. I also think that Kellen was pushed on Mike in the beginning, right? Usually when a new staff comes in, a new coach comes in, he brings his own guys. Kellen was already there. And Jerry was kind of like, Kellen's my boy. Kellen's going to be your offensive coordinator. Okay? Like, so that may have started. And I don't know if you remember the press conference with Mike. He was like, I watched every play of the Dallas Cowboys offense last year, and I love Kellen, and he's so innovative, and he's blah, blah, blah. Bullshit. No drinks for me, please. Bullshit.
I guess that's my overarching thing is, okay, why is it that we're just assuming that it's smart for the kids to go with dad, aka Mike McCarthy, in the divorce? Like, why is, like, if they didn't get along, why are they just assuming, like, in that instance that one of them had to go, it should be Kellen? Yeah. What has Mike McCarthy done for this team that provides you any like semblance of confidence that somebody else is going to come in and then it'll just be magically cured.
I mean, the thing that they're going to throw back at you is back-to-back 12-win seasons. And slowly moving down the line. Last year they lost in the wild card. This year they won in the wild card round.
An 8-win team.
Of course. No. I'm agreeing with you. I'm just saying that's the counter.
No, I'm not saying that like against you. I'm saying that to them. Like they should not be pushing it on you, the fans. Like, oh, well, we're making it further, so we need to believe in this coach. Like, I think that's a real fool's gold situation that you're not as close as you think. I don't know.
And now, they're saying that there's rumors that Mike's going to call the plays, which I'm in a weird place here. One, it's like, okay, you know what? If you're going to go down, at least go down steering the ship.
That's fair.
Do what you got to do. Like, right? If I'm Mike McCarthy, I'm saying that. I'm kind of like, okay, let's see what you got. But pause. When he gave up play calling in Green Bay, the offense was stagnant. The offense was not good. There was literally video of Aaron Rodgers repeatedly yelling at the sideline, "Stupid fucking call," every time Mike was sending in a play call, right? Now, it's not easy to work with Aaron Rodgers. I understand this. But we haven't seen that kind of thing since Flynn's been there to that extent. So, there was egos involved, of course. They're saying, Mike would call it a play and then Aaron would change it. And then they wanted a duel to see whose plays are better. It's a what measuring contest.
Yeah. Yes.
So it's like, okay, lead the ship. If you're going to die leading it. But your offense was stagnant. And what do you always say? Who's not the number one guy in attention to detail? It's the guy that said, I'm going to stop calling the plays because there's so much to do Monday through Saturday, aka, being a head coach, that there's just too much to do to be the head coach and call the plays. So that scares me.
It would, considering I have not seen a big adjustment in attention to detail. So that would worry me a little bit. Where do you think they go with offensive coordinator? Because like you mentioned, McCarthy calling the plays is a viable option on the table. It sounds like. Do you think they bring in somebody that, will just work well with him and he can call the plays and they brainstorm them together? Or do they just bring in somebody fresh off the street who is a new creative mind?
So, no, to your second question.
Off season's off to a great start.
Yeah. So I think there's a couple viable names and some names that are realistic. One is Brian Schottenheimer. He's in the building, right? He's been a offensive consultant for the Cowboys this past season. He was an offensive coordinator in Seattle. He's got that connection with Dan Quinn too. There were rumors that if Dan had moved on and become a head coach, let's say in Denver, he was going to bring Schottenheimer to be his OC. So Schottenheimer is one because he's already in the building. Two, I think it's, here we go again, Ben McAdoo, because McAdoo did this job the year before that Schottenheimer's doing for Mike McCarthy. He's been a Mike McCarthy guy for a long time. He was in Carolina calling the plays. Now Frank Reich is there. McAdoo's not going to be in Carolina anymore. So now he's the option. He's an option. Two, I forget his name, the running backs coach for Carolina. He was also the assistant head coach, I believe. He was the OC for
Steve Wilkes.
No, Wilkes was defensive coordinator. What's his name? He was also running backs coach at Baylor with your guy, who was the coach who got fired.
Matt Rule.
So he's apparently interviewing. I'll find it. But the guy where there's a little bit of rumbling, and the guy I'm most interested in, because one, it sort of, I guess, could say it's that fresh new guy off the street, because he's not an OC right now. He's a quarterback's coach. He was a quarterback's coach in college. He was Dak's quarterback's coach in college. Brian Johnson, Eagles quarterback's coach. You take away from your biggest rival. You bring in a mind that's already worked with your quarterback, who everybody says they worked well together. I have heard and seen rumblings that he wants to call plays. He wants to eventually be an offensive coordinator. I mean, what quarterbacks coach doesn't? That's the next evolution. So that would be my aspect. Obviously, you're going to have to wait another couple weeks to be able to interview him after the Super Bowl. But I would love to take away and add all at the same time. I mean, look what he's done with Jalen Hurts. Obviously, look at that. I don't think we've seen a year 1 to year 2 jump like that in a quarterback since I don't know when. So
probably ever. I don't think that's me being biased.
And
I don't think we even expected this jump.
No, God, no. So that's my number one right there. His familiarity. That's a hard word to say.
It is.
With Dak, and you're kind of hamstringing your biggest rival a little bit. It's not like you're not taking Sirianni away. They'll find a new quarterbacks coach, but it's worth a shot. I mean, would much rather try that and go down swinging than Ben McAdoo.
Well, yeah, that's true. And it's, I think you should go progressive mind like that. And also always go with somebody who works with quarterbacks because there's a quarterback league. And
when lastly, you have a quarterback who needs some help.
Yes. And most importantly is it doesn't look like, given today's news, and we're going to get into that and the coaching hires that were made today, it doesn't appear that Shane Steichen will be leaving unless he gets the Colts job, which means Brian Johnson won't be elevated to offensive coordinator in Philly. So if he wanted to be an offensive coordinator, it wouldn't be here next year, but it could be in Dallas. So that's why that could be a possibility.
100%. And I mean, this is like 2 years in a row, right? I'm shifting to defense coordinator now, where Dan Quinn has like played this perfectly, where he's gone out there and then I think he's like kind of seen like, okay, I'm not going to get a job. And he's like, I'm coming back. We got the defense. I'm all in. We're winning the Super Bowl in Dallas. And then the same sort of thing happened. And then he's like, he's hearing the rumblings like, all right, all these coaches are getting fired in Dallas. Okay. Mike is kind of on the hot seat. They love me here. I can do no wrong for Dallas fans. I'm going to stay because I know this job is mine if he fucks up.
He's the person who's at their regular job on Indeed.com looking at the other jobs and like, oh, look at this salary. Oh, look at these benefits. Well, it doesn't quite beat what I have now, but I'll bookmark it. I've got a bunch
and he interviews and and then they're like, I think we might. And before they said go in another direction, he's like, I'm staying. I love it here.
Like, do you just feels it out, likes to look around, see what other jobs are on the table.
I found out. So Joe Philbin, the offensive line coach for the Cowboys, who was just like, he was making $2 million a year.
That seems like a lot.
More than anybody. He was the highest paid offensive line coach by a mile. Now, this year, Mike McCarthy is going to be making $6 million a year as the head coach. Dan Quinn's making $5 million.
That's really close as to where the pecking order is. Yeah.
He's like this. It's a cycle, Aiden, because this is what happened when Wade Phillips was here. Wade Phillips was the head coach. Jason Garrett was the offensive coordinator. Jerry didn't want Jason to leave, so he paid him the same amount as the head coach. And then there was rumblings, and then Jason came here and stabbed Wade Phillips in the back and was like, I'm the head coach, and I'm not leaving for 12 years. It's a cycle. It's
a vicious cycle. Vicious cycle. Oh, man.
Now, my last thing I want to say about Kellen Moore, and then we'll move on, is I think it's a good fit for him. I really do. I think he's going to be very good in that offense. I think that, if they get like a speed wide receiver weapon, not that Kellen Moore likes to take deep shots. It seems like the only deep shot they took all season was 3rd and 30. But I think he's going to do well there. But I think it's absolutely hilarious that he is going to the Los Angeles Chargers, where last year they had a problem because they didn't know where the clock was in that stadium. Him and Mike McCarthy. Remember they could not find the clock in the stadium. So first order of business when you get to the stadium, Kellen, find the clock.
Where's the clock? Okay.
Got it.
Very easy job. Work with Justin Herbert and know where the clock is in the stadium. I feel like it's just.
I can't wait till I can feel like Justin Herbert's like, all right. He walks in, they meet each other. He's like, all right, dork. I got this. Okay. Yeah. Just don't stay out of my way.
Yeah, we'll see how that relationship goes. Like I said, if you can't work with Justin Herbert, you probably don't deserve a job in the league. So we'll see.
No. Yeah, that's the biggest news in the NFL. Not much else going on. Pro Bowl.
Not much else going on.
Micah Parsons getting ready for the Pro Bowl.
Yeah. Okay. Let's start here. The Eagles are in the Super Bowl. Thank goodness that I don't have to worry about the 18 Pro Bowl eligible Eagles playing in a game captained by Snoop Dogg and Pete Davidson. Like, to go on this run this year and then to see them out there and the main character of King of Staten Island being like, yeah, I'll take AJ Brown. Like, that would have killed me. Thank goodness that we are in the Super Bowl. I am just elated. I'm so happy.
And now you see like these additions, right? To Super, like Tyler Biotish now is in. Yeah, Tyler Huntley. Like, really?
The game is going to be a disaster. But like I said, like the fact that I don't have to care about that, like I'm taking the week off.
Would you have cared about it anyway?
No,
you would have been dead. You would have been dead.
Anyway, it would have been demoralizing to like see our guys playing in a Pro Bowl and just be like, we shouldn't be here. Like, we should be playing next week, but we are. Like, so that's why I'm just like so like I was thinking about so many like reasons why I'm excited, and like this is just a Super Bowl caliber team. So the amount of Pro Bowl eligible players that we had, to see that huge flock of them playing in that meaningless game when we could be on a Super Bowl field would have killed me. It definitely would have killed me.
Do you remember what team had the most Pro Bowlers last year?
I think it was I think Cowboys is no. I don't remember.
The Colts.
Really? Why don't I remember that? Jonathan Taylor, Darius Leonard.
I forget who. Maybe Rocky Sin.
Oh, and Quentin Nelson.
I think they had 7 or 8.
Wow. Well,
yeah.
How far they? Well, that's bad. Listen, I hope we don't end up like that, but also like, yeah.
I have to, we're not going to turn this into a 45-minute show, but I didn't watch the game. And
how was Miss Rachel?
It was good. I actually had the most fun I've ever had with my daughter for like 3 hours. It was great. But like I was at the in-laws' house. I wanted to be gone by 3. The fighter jets literally were circling the house 5 times. It was unbelievable. So I'm like, I can't leave yet. Let's see if they come back.
Come over. I live in a condo complex. It shakes the whole thing when they fly over.
My wife's like, "Are we being bombed?" I'm like, "What is?" I'm like, "Oh no, those are the jets." They're like, and there was one. They were like in formation, like that. But there was one dude just like over here, just like you could tell he was just messing around. And then he's like, "Oh, we gotta go." You just saw, he was like over New Jersey, just fucking around. And then he's like, "Oh, okay."
He was like, "Oh, all right, I'll make it back."
But at least my wife had her friend over. Babies, like, and then the game started, and she's like, "You could either feed Emma her snack now," or I'm like, "All right, just give her a snack, and then I'm leaving." And the game started, and then the Devontae Smith catch, and they're getting up and cheering. I'm like, "I need to get the fuck out of this house now." And then that was it. And then I was like, of course, I was like doing this,
checking the score. Yeah.
And then like every once in a while, and then I'm feeding my daughter dinner, and she just kept going like this.
She knows.
I'm like, what? And then I looked, and it was 31-7. I'm like, I'm just gonna kill myself.
When did you find out? I'll go into my day after your day, but when did you find out the news?
Purdy?
Yeah.
I mean, pretty. I was checking Twitter, and then every once in a while, like I have the YouTube TV thing on my app on my phone, so I was like, click.
So clutch, right? That's awesome.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it was as soon as Josh Johnson. I mean, he's been on. Another question: how many teams has Josh Johnson been on?
I know the answer. It's on 14. I saw it on Good Morning Football, which was
amazing,
awesome. It's like that show is we talked about this all the time. That's the only show that like knows what they're doing football. It's crazy.
Yeah,
it's the only morning programming that actually is like good sports journalism.
But I mean, hey, you're just gonna put a tight end out there on Hassan Reddick. You're doing it to yourself.
Okay, all right, let's just do it. Because this has been like my point all week. Because all I've heard a million times. It's like, and I feel like if you're like a football person, you're like, yeah, like the Eagles won that game. And if with Brock Purdy, like I saw a take, and it's actually a good one. They may have won by more if Brock Purdy played because like energy wise, I think they would have been more locked in. Like I think there were I think there gets moments on offense where they don't give 120% because they know they don't have to.
And the defense completely changed, right? They knew that they couldn't throw the ball. Yeah. They didn't have to attack.
No, so it wasn't. Yeah, exactly. So that's kind of my overarching thing. If we just want to talk game in general, is if you're a 49ers fan, like, yeah, that sucks. Like, I'd be super disappointed if that happened to Jalen. And absolutely, you can say the 49ers lost because Brock Purdy got hurt. But think about why he got hurt. They couldn't handle the pass rush. They couldn't handle Hassan Reddick, who's been an absolute terror on the football field all season, but especially this past month and a half. Yep. And on offense for the Eagles, they were just absolutely dominating, pancaking on the offensive line, creating running holes, and that has nothing to do with Brock Purdy or Josh Johnson or Jimmy Garoppolo or Trey Lance. It didn't matter who was out there. Nick Bosa is going to win Defensive Player of the Year. And if you talk to 49ers people, he's not even the best player on their defense. Fred Warner is.
Yep.
They were absolutely neutralized. The Eagles' offensive line dominated. That was one of the storylines that we talked about going into the week is the Eagles' offensive line with 2 Hall of Famers and 3 more Pro Bowlers, if they could keep winning the way that they're winning. They did.
And guess what? The Chiefs don't have Nick Bosa.
They did not. Chris Jones was awesome.
Chris Jones is a freak. He
was awesome in that game. The game after that. And then
the Bengals offensive line has you and me playing right now.
Well, that's true. Yeah, I was about to say you don't even have to be Chris Jones to absolutely terrorize.
I guarantee, and if I played 50 snaps, I could win one.
That would have been abuse if they would have let Hassan Reddick and Josh Sweat tee off on those guys.
That's it. Joe Burrow would have been sacked 15 times.
That would have been illegal what they did to Joe Burrow. Mm-hmm. We like Joe. That would have been like sad. That would have been watching like a deer on a highway.
No, at least the Chiefs O-line can block a little bit.
Yes. So this is my thing. We talked about it going into the week. Like, if you're a 49ers fan, yes, you did lose that game because Brock Purdy got hurt. What's this?
Read what my wife just texted me. She's upstairs.
Are you admitting on air that this is the first football game you chose not to watch because you're a baby? Yes, he is, Lisa. Yes, he is admitting it. But yeah, so like if you're a 49ers fan, the reason you lost is because Brock Purdy got hurt. That's true. But do not fool yourself that was the sole reason why you lost. Going into the week, we thought Hassan Reddick, who is an absolute terrorizer, and the Eagles pass rush would cause chaos. That is exactly how he got hurt. And we thought the Eagles offensive line would dominate and win in the trenches, and they did. This is shaping up. Eddie and I talked about it when we did the TikTok. This is shaping up, if they win the Super Bowl, to potentially be the best in the trenches team of all time in football. It is the most rushing touchdowns since the Yellow Jackets, who I don't even know who that is, in 1924. And they're probably going to tie the sack record of the historically respected 85 Bears. Like, you can be disappointed and play the what-if game with Brock Purdy all you want. That kid was going to have a long day. And the Eagles were going to dominate up front, and they did.
Yep, they did. And Aiden, I know someone apparently is good friends with the Kelsey family, grew up with them. Showed me pictures on his phone today at the gym. Them together all the time. Has his number in his phone. He said, firsthand knowledge, he knows for a fact that even if they win the Super Bowl, Jason Kelsey is coming back next year.
Really?
He's said it to me twice this week. So we'll see.
That would be awesome.
Could you play Cam Jurgens then if you lose Seomalu at guard?
Yes, you could. And I don't know what the plan is with Dillard. He came in for Dickerson, so I don't know if they bring him back if he could be a guard as well. I could see Kelsey being like, "This is it." Like doing the
that's what I would
farewell tour, and actually
I feel like that would be the time to do it against your brother.
Like, if we win the Super Bowl, be like, all right, one last ride. Let's see if we can do it one last time, and like kind of cutting yourself off and getting. And I think he has the utmost respect of not only Philadelphia but the league. So he would go around and every single game would be like, respect, like to Jason Kelce, which I think would be awesome for him. So
I think it would.
I hope he does come back next year. It'd be awesome.
And if he does, then that's because they always say it's better to leave a day early than a day late. Like you don't want
Tom Brady.
Yeah. Oh God.
Who I think actually would be retired right now if it wasn't for the fact that his retirement announcement got ruined.
And now the 49ers are the leading favorite in Vegas to sign him. Like, why are we doing this?
I don't know.
Are you openly admitting that trading 18 first-round picks for Trey Lance was stupid?
Probably.
A year later? He's played, 3 games?
And Brock Purdy was better. I still like Brock Purdy. It's just...
Oh, yeah.
And it's just, like, so crazy to me, though. I'm sorry to keep going back to this, but just being like, oh, well, if he didn't get hurt, like, they would have won the game. Like, probably not. Like, at some point, and they were like, imagine if the tides were turned or the tables were turned and, like, Jalen Hurts got hurt on something like that. Like, you would be the same way playing what if. And, like, I'd be pretty upset if my coaching staff knew that the opposing pass rush were absolute insane men, like, wreaking havoc all year and got 2 of my quarterbacks hurt because of bad execution and design flaw on plays that ended up with tight ends trying to cover the sack leader in the NFL. Like, that is the main takeaway.
Not throwing a challenge flag on 4th down on a catch that was not a catch.
Is a good coach, but there are red flag moments in the playoffs for sure.
Yes,
like the 28-3 thing is not entirely his fault, but he's the track record that is not lining up.
Chase Sr. said it to us last week. There was going to be moments in this game where, like, Sirianni's going to take advantage and be aggressive, where he was on that 4th down, and then Shanahan is going to make some sort of mistake, either being not aggressive or one of those attention to detail mistakes, and that was literally it on one play.
Same play.
Sirianni went for it. Shanahan didn't challenge it.
Great point. Yeah. And Devontae Smith, I continue to I was talking to my friends about this, but just like a winner, just does everything right. Like, I know that wasn't technically a catch, but that was incredible. Like, what an incredible catch. And then he gets up and he's going like this, which means hurry to the line. Like, he knows, like, get the next play off, get the next staff off. Don't even give them a chance to challenge it. Like, he's just so smart. He's got, it's not even just the fact that he's talented. Like, think about all the times that he always knows where he is on the field. He always gets his feet down. Like, he's just such a smart, talented player.
The dude won a Heisman. And like that's also what you and I have been talking about for the last 2 years with drafting these players from the SEC, from Alabama, from Georgia. Not only are they good players, not only are they dominant at their position, a game like Sunday in that atmosphere is nothing to Devontae Smith. He's like, okay, I've played in this 15 times in Alabama. I played in the SEC Championship. I played in the National Championship. This is awesome, but I'm used to this.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if they're not at Georgia and they're not at Alabama, I'll go Ohio State. But no, I don't. No. Your first-round kid needs to be from that school, and we're going to get into mock draft season. The best part of all of us is the fact that we have 2 first-round picks. All-time great team.
And the Saints just got another one, so somehow Howie's going to get that one.
I can't wait. Yeah. I have a vague call. The Saints should not pick up that phone. We'll just
Can you imagine?
Get them
it's
again.
215.
Yeah, just hang up. Don't block the number. It'll only lead to bad things for you. But you're totally right. Like, these moments, like, and like, they come from the biggest high school programs, so they go to the biggest college programs, and then it's like, then they're not afraid of the moment, and they like know what they're doing. And I think Devontae Smith is just such a perfect example of that. And I'm really glad to have a gamer and a winner on the team like that.
And so is Jalen Hurts, right? I mean, how quickly
it's just the level the entire time. Like, you never even worry.
How quickly have people forgotten that kid was literally benched at Alabama? Tua gets hurt down in the SEC Championship game, and Hurts comes in and wins the game.
Yep. That's just who it's. Yeah, you're right. It's just steady. A kid could be a surgeon. It's crazy. And I think The other point that people keep bringing up is like, oh, well, the Eagles haven't played anybody. It's like at some point we gotta like just stop this. It's like Jalen Hurts now set the record for most rushing touchdowns in the season. We have the most rushing touchdowns since the Yellow Jackets. Like every week they break like some record that stood for like 40 years. And it's like at some point people are just gonna have to admit that this team might be pretty good and Jalen Hurts might be pretty good. Like,
and I'm gonna talk to that from the Cowboys perspective. There's Cowboys fans saying that, right? I tweeted it from Birds. You just rode the Super Bowl of all time. Okay, maybe it was, right? Maybe it
wasn't.
But hold on. No, I'm not saying before. I'm saying the Giants. Giants stink. However, the Niners have the best defense in the league. They lost.
Yeah.
But Cowboys fans and fans of other teams, but I'm specifically talking to Cowboys fans. The Eagles this year handled their shit.
Mm-hmm.
Don't blow the lead in Green Bay. Don't blow the game in Jacksonville. Beat a bad Washington team with a rookie quarterback last week. And guess what? Maybe you play the Giants at home. And then maybe you play the Niners at home or the Eagles at home. And you have a chance to go to the Super Bowl. The Eagles handled their shit. They got 2 home games.
Yep.
They got to bye because they handled their shit in the regular season. I hate when people are like, oh, it's week 2. This game really doesn't matter. Guess what? That win that the Eagles had in week 2 and week 3 and week 4 and week 5 and week 6 and week 7, they all fucking matter.
Mm-hmm. That's my favorite thing is like everyone's like, oh, the road to the Super Bowl was so easy. I'm like, oh, it was so easy. Maybe your team should have done it, but they didn't. So enjoy watching us in 2 weeks. That's just how it is.
Shit.
And like I would have liked to see, like we talked about this with Chase, and I think I brought it up to you individually. Is that I was just curious, like I wanted to see this matchup, and I was so confident. So my day went to the tailgate, 9 a.m., drinking beer in the parking lot, seems crazy. Get to the bar, plenty of time, and I'm just like so confident. And I've never been this confident in a Philly team in my entire life. Like I never had one ounce of stress. Like when I went into that Giants game. I walked in. The most stressful thing was finding my seat. The most stressful thing was getting into the bar on Sunday. It's just like I like the game was starting and I felt like and you know me, I'm the biggest worrier and I'm just so confident. Like, yeah, both of us. We're could be a little bit negative perceived. But I was just like, we're winning. Well, I felt it all week. I was like, we're winning. We're going to talk about Eagles Chiefs, but I don't think we're foreshadowing how I'm feeling. It's just, Purdy getting hurt sucked. Yeah, it's true. It would have made it a better game, but it did not change how that game
2017 Super Bowl vibes all over again with a better team.
I was about to say this team is 5 times better than our Super Bowl.
They would clap that Eagles team.
We would win by
if this Eagles team played that Patriots team in the Super Bowl, I don't think Tom Brady makes it out of the stadium.
If we played ourselves 2022 versus 2017, we would win by double digits this year versus that team.
Yes.
That's 100%. How good they are. I haven't felt an ounce of stress. And it's been fun because then I hope as a fan, like people are appreciating what this has been. And you know me, like I lock myself in a room and sit 6 inches from the television screen. And I feel like this year I've been more open to doing things in the game. And it's been like fun to, it's kind of fun to hang out with your friends instead of like isolating yourself 6 inches from the television screen. But I feel like I'm able to do that because I'm so confident in the team. Like I went to the game in Washington, beat the shit out of them. I went to Xfinity for a game for the first time. I know everyone's down on them as they should be. Stop hosting opposing teams' parties. Did Xfinity for the game for the first time ever against the Steelers. Kicked the shit out of them. Went to the game last week. Kicked the shit out of them. Went to the bar for a big game, which I've never, ever do. The last time I went to a game was a Buffalo Wild Wings because they weren't showing the Eagles game on TV, so I had to go somewhere with DirecTV. Kick the shit out of them. Like, it's just like, at some point, people might have to admit that this team might be all right.
This team is,
it's
more than all right.
Like people more opportunities to have fun and do things. Maybe that's just me, but I think we should just appreciate like the fact that you're with your friends at the bar or at Xfinity or at the game and like they're winning like this. And it's like you never feel an ounce of stress and only happiness.
And speaking of all that, and this is how I'm going to end it, I will always be a Cowboys fan. Always. Okay, this is the curse of my life. Okay. But I was texting with my one Cowboys friend, who's diehard up here, Matt, and we have lots of friends. Obviously, I could not believe the amount of people that I knew that were tailgating and at the game on Sunday, and Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. I'm just seeing all these pictures, and I'm texting with Matt, and he's saying the same thing. It's like, man, that looks fun.
Yep.
Like, that just looks fun. Like,
It was
with all your friends, the vibe. Like, I'm just like, yeah, that's what we miss. Like, it's cool if Dallas wins the Super Bowl. I gotta go get on a plane maybe to possibly go to a parade. Like, all right, cool.
Yeah.
Like, it's a different vibe, and I will never. Jesse from Brandon texted me and he's like, "Would you stop just being an idiot and just switch over already? Stop being so stubborn." I'm like, you don't want me. That's fake. Like, actually, maybe I will come over and just be a double agent, because then they won't win again for the next 30 years.
You'll be like Snape in Harry Potter. We won't know which side you're actually on.
That would happen though. I would be like, okay, you know what? My fandom, I'm becoming an Eagles fan. It's fine. It's over. This will be fun. The fucking Cowboys will win the Super Bowl that year.
Yeah, you know that you can't switch. I always say, like, if I bet on a game, they will lose, but if I don't bet, they will win. Mm-hmm. So that's how it is. But you're right. Like, it was such a friends and family vibe where everyone was in such a good mood. Everything worked out perfectly. You're right. You'd have to get on a plane. I'll tell you what, shout out to Misconduct down on JFK Boulevard. That was an excellent viewing experience. I had a screen like 10 feet from me. Like, I was locked in, didn't have to compete with people. They win. Everybody files out of the bar. You're right at City Hall. I was one of the first people in the middle of the street, to be literally honest with you. A cop hugs me on the way into City Hall. Like, it's just like one of those united affairs. And it's, I just hope everybody appreciates how awesome this entire run in the city has been.
Awesome.
With the Phillies. Awesome. The Sixers are good. The Eagles, everything. It's been fantastic. I'm so happy. And one last thing for me, stop coming here. If you're an opposing fan, just stop fucking coming here. I'm so tired of it. You show up, you do these stupid parties, you put things on Rocky, you say, look at me, pay attention to me, and then when people are mean to you because you do those things, you're offended, and you go home and you talk about how big of scumbags you are. If you show up at somebody else's house and you kick your feet up on the couch with the shoes on and you make a mess and you don't throw your trash away, and the hosts get upset. That's what you're doing. Like, you're just coming over and being a bad house guest and then getting mad when the host is upset with you. Stop coming here. Stop doing this Rocky thing. Stop showing up at Xfinity Live. We don't want you here. You shouldn't be here. Enjoy your team. Kevin, like, you're the perfect example of like a good fan. Like, you support the Cowboys. You're doing mock drafts for them every day. You tweet about them every day. You're realistic as a fan. We do this podcast. And at no point does it cross this line of just being like purposely threatening and this invasion and this takeover. You're never going to take over Lincoln Financial Field. Ever. There's a 98% retention rate on season tickets. My grandkids have a slim chance of getting into that fucking stadium. You're not going to take it over. Stop doing this. Stop bringing flags through you bring like these flags and marches like you're the Confederate Army through the parking lot and then get mad.
And you have an AK-47. You have an AK-47.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you want to be the little drummer boy and carry the flag, and you're like, look at me. And then when everyone gets mad at you for doing that, then you're upset. Stop coming here. Like, I will say,
when I go to a Cowboys Eagles game, you need to know how to act. If you're going to go to the game, okay. But like, exactly. I always say, like, I'm in your house. And then everyone's like booing me as a Cowboys fan. I'm like, I know. Everybody has their flaw. This is just mine. If you're not an asshole, they will, like, everyone laughs back. Of course you're going to get booed. Of course, it's part of it. But you don't have to, like, the thing that they don't get is half the people, Philly fans, they don't give a fuck about the Rocky statue. Like, but you are evolving it and bringing it. Like, no one cares. But when you do that, you put a target on yourself.
You're purposely causing a scene, saying, look at me. And then when people turn and look at you, then you have a problem with it. I've been to opposing games. Like, when we went to Atlanta, like, we befriended Atlanta fans. They were awesome. We had a great time all together. We went down to DC, and I will admit there weren't that many Commanders fans, so we didn't really like associate with them. But like, Eagles fans can take over a stadium. It's happened before. And I feel like we don't have to do all these shenanigans. And it's just like, I'm so tired of hearing about, oh, these Philly scumbags, like they treated us like trash. And it's like, you had an itinerary for your takeover, and you post about the line at Xfinity of you guys walking in, and let's be real with ourselves. We can tell you spaced out the line. We're not idiots. You can call us scumbags, but we're not dumb.
There was 47 people in that video.
Yeah, and it's just like I will use this analogy to the day I die. Philly fans are like bees. We won't bother you if you don't bother us. Mm-hmm. But if you swing at the nest, don't be upset when you get stung. And that's just like I'm done with the takeover stuff. Stop coming here. It'll never end well for you.
And speaking of this, and this is how I'll end it. Our guys at 105.3 The Fan in Dallas, who you know I'm loyal to and I listen to, we've had them on the station. RJ, who's been on the show. RJ, who's been on the show. Sean, they all did this thing last week. Who are you rooting for? Obviously, right? Are you rooting for your biggest division rival to win, or are you rooting for the team that's taking you out the last 2 years? Sean and RJ both picked the Eagles, which everyone's like, what? And it was strictly because of the media in San Francisco and the fan base in San Francisco. How rude they are, how nasty they are. They said Philly fans have never done this. Opposing radio stations have never done this. They were literally finding pictures of their kids and posting them and wishing that found his wife's Twitter in her DM saying, I hope you and your son are in a fiery plane crash and die leading into the Cowboys game. He showed, put it on Twitter. So you want to talk about being scumbags? Those are the scumbags.
Yep. There is
Joey Bosa, walk into the stadium.
Yeah, we don't have enough time for that. But I know. It's like you gotta either lean into it or ignore it. You can't do what he did. It's just you're going into a pack of hyenas. So yeah, just you enjoy your games. We'll enjoy our games. Stop coming here. Like, if you think we're such scumbags, stop interacting with us. Because we had a great tailgate one way or another, family and friends, great happy atmosphere. And I think the overall sentiment in Philadelphia right now is just how just genuinely pleased we are watching these guys play football with a lot of great guys like Jason Kelce, Jalen Hurts, a lot of fun guys like Darius Slay, Brandon Graham, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. It's one hell of a ride and one more to go. So I'm just really excited, and just another huge win and just a lot of happiness. It was just, and I will say, even down at like the riot, quote unquote, like I saw the thing fall in, but aside from that, there wasn't really that much destruction. It was just, there's really happy vibes. We may be changing. We're happy people now.
And it's, and you said how different you were this year. Calm, cool, collected most of the time, having fun. It's kind of almost how I am. Like, it's almost, I hate the Eagles, right? Most times I hate them more than ISIS. But like, I think my heart has like already come to terms with it, because I'm not one of those fans like, no, they suck. They're the best team in football. And I think I've had them number one in my power rankings. How long? I think I've come to terms with it. Like you said, that there's no one hateable as a player on that team. I don't like Nick Sirianni, but as a player, who's like the villain? There really isn't one. So it's like, I feel miserable because at the same, I'm like, I think they're winning the Super Bowl. It's just been the vibes, but it's like, I'm almost like kind of like you, where I'm just like, all right, well, I guess I got to get a Sharpie out and write on this stupid banner in my basement of my wife's and add another. But it's like, I don't know. It's just like, I'm like this. I'm like, okay, like, what am I going to do?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go do 8 mock drafts tonight. That's what I'm going to do. Okay.
Listen, it'd be an honor to do the mock draft with you still. It'll be fun. But yeah, so that's how we feel coming out of the weekend, and we'll have a lot more content. We're going to try to get Chiefs content creators on here too. And obviously we'll have some Eagles people, and
we could probably have Tuck on actually.
Yeah, we probably could. Yeah. Just get the vibe from him. So yeah, it's a great time to be a Philadelphian with everything going on, and just an overall happy time. This is the most pure elation that serotonin is flowing through my body. It's great.
Shoot me. All right. Well, like Aiden said, lots of content coming out this week. Next week, we will be doing tons leading into the Super Bowl. So where you're going to find this YouTube channel, make sure you subscribe. It's where you can get all of our content, whether it's full shows. We are going to be doing mock draft leading in to Super Bowl, and then literally hundreds of them leading into the draft. You're not going to want to miss that. Anywhere podcasts you can listen to them, we're there. Google, Spotify, Apple, anywhere. Find Birds vs. Boys Pod. Twitter, that's where you're going to get the most content, whether it's Eagles, Cowboys, reaction, everything's there. Birds vs. Boys Pod on Twitter. And of course, our TikTok, our power rankings, our this, or that. They're all on there. Birds vs. Boys Pod as well. You're not going to want to miss it. You have an elated, serotonin-filled Eagles fan and a miserable, sad Cowboys fan. What could be better than that leading into the Super Bowl? We will catch you next time and the next time and the next time, because we are having multiple short shows almost every day.